similar topic that you were talking about last night, close into the face-off circle. I think kind of diving into it, from the start of it, how do you look at success at the dot as far as a tactical thing or a position thing or even any effort?
Well, you start with the puck or you don't, right? So you're either making plays or you're chasing the puck and defending. And so, we've talked about it a little bit here, and certainly we need to get better in that area.
Riker Evans progressing, it looks like, from red to normal jersey. Is he getting, are we starting to talk putting him into line rushes and things like that at this point?
Well, optional practice, there's no contact, so there was no point in him having a red jersey on.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Right,
that's where we're progressing.
So would he be wearing red then if it was a normal practice?
He would be wearing red. Right now he's day-to-day, and we'll see where it goes from here. He's progressing, though.
Mm-hmm. And with Yanni drawing out of the lineup last night, is there anything in particular you wanted him to focus on, watching the game and, resetting?
You know what? First of all, it's not anything he did or didn't do. Capo came back into the lineup. We made that decision. That doesn't mean that it's long-term, for sure. With him, I think any young player can learn, when they're sitting in the stands. And, again, just positioning for him. Not only defensive positioning, but positioning offensively. How can he find areas and find ways to get his shot off and create that space?
I asked you last night about, you gave some great insight on getting out of the zone and using that to create offense. And you talked about poise and composure with the puck in the defensive zone. How do you actually teach that? It almost feels like it would be an inherent type of thing as opposed to something that you learn. How do you practice that and teach it?
Well, it can be an inherent thing. There's no question about it. Obviously, it's an instinctual thing. But there is ways to help, and there's ways from a team standpoint to find solutions. And to be honest with you, I thought, last night we didn't spend nearly as much time in our zone as we have. We did a better job of getting pucks out. We did a better job on the walls. We had some early turnovers where, they kind of stand out a little bit. But, certainly towards the second half of the game, our numbers and our time spent in our zone was very, very good, from that standpoint. And, if we can continue that trend, we'll be trending upward. Obviously, the line of Miller, Zibanejad, and, Panarin are a very good line. And so they were able to spend some time in our zone and make some plays. But other than that, I thought we did a pretty good job.
Lane, reaching back to training camp for a minute, O'Brien's had a really good first month in OHL player of the month. What did you see from him when he was here?
Just a smart player, and for me, it was nice to see him, with his offensive abilities, also, playing a 200-foot game. That was probably the biggest thing that I noticed about him was, his ability to see the game from both sides of the puck.
And for a player like that, is being a captain also sort of a good way for him to develop?
Well, sure. Leadership qualities, when you're a captain of any team, there's certain lessons that, and experiences that you get and you learn from.
About 7 days from now, we'll have 4 more games wiped off the calendar, and there's also back-to-back. This is kind of a contrast to the light week that these guys just went through. So how much do you kind of view that maybe as a rhythm and, more of a deposit to kind of get these guys, a little bit more dialed in as well?
Well, you do start to, like you say, you do start to get into a rhythm. And again, we've had, we did have a couple of good practice days, but with, as of last night, including last night, 5 games in, 8 or 9 days, and some travel and some back-to-back included in that, you've got to manage your rest, while maintaining the rhythm. And the rhythm is, you get into game mode for the most part. So, we're looking forward to that.
Coach, I've chatted with a couple of guys about Josh Mahura and what kind of a teammate he is. Mm-hmm. They've said very good things. What have you seen from him in terms of how he interacts with his teammates? Yeah,
just I concur with what they say. Certainly, he's a team-first guy, period. He's got great energy, positive energy. So I think really, really good for the group in terms of being a good teammate no matter what's going on, whether it's in good times or bad times. That's what I've seen so far.
And in his tenure at the Kraken, he's had some times where he's kind of like in and out of the lineup. What have you seen from him on the ice that's kind of made you trust him in his role?
Well, he's very responsible, and he reminds me a little bit of Lindgren in terms of commitment level. He's got a great commitment level. He, when there's something that needs to be done, whether it's a shot be blocked or to pay the price to do something, pay the price to to make a play, he'll do it. So, the other side of it too is that his mobility's pretty good, and he's able to make pretty decent breakout passes. So I've thought he's done a very good job here over the first 11 games.